It's Royal Rumble predictions time. Let's start off with the first match being the WWE Tag Team Championship match. Motor City Machine Guns going up against DIY. 2 out of 3 falls. The tag team titles, everybody, have made it on to a show. They're on a pay-per-view. Play. It's about time. And you know what? They have been doing more and more work to get the tag teams on TV. At least on SmackDown. On Raw, who is it? Who tag champs? Eric and Ivar? The hell, there's nothing going on. But on SmackDown, they're putting some emphasis on this. So this, number one, I think is going to be a banger of a match. We only, by the way, have 4 matches announced for this thing. And I think that was the Rumble last year as well. I mean, you got an hour-long women's Rumble, an hour-long men's Rumble. You've got the Cody match, and you got the tag team. It's not a lot. It's not. Remember the old days? I mean, you'd only have 1 Rumble, but like you get like 7 matches on the card. Kind of miss it. Anyways, the tag team match, 2 out of 3 falls, is going to be, I think, fantastic. I think they will give it a lot of time, like 25, 30 minutes. Again, 4 matches, why not? I kind of feel like they could give it to Motor City Machine Guns. It really just depends, I think, what you're going to eyeball for WrestleMania and then what that will look like. Maybe a multi-man match. They have a lot that they are working with in terms of teams on SmackDown. Part of me feels like you keep it on DIY so that you can forward the story of Motor City Machine Guns and other teams getting past the Rumble and trying to get a spot at Mania. My pick is going to be DIY. I think that they will retain the tag team titles. I think it'll be a crazy match and maybe even have like a crazy 3rd fall finish where it's just kind of like, maybe it looks like a submission pin thing and the ref doesn't see it. And then DIY ends up retaining. Because as I think about it, if you're going into WrestleMania, you could do the tag team title match of like Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, Pretty Deadly, the Garzas, and that's 4. So you got like, you have a healthy, I know Street Profits are around, but I don't know what they're doing. So I do think that DIY could hold on to those belts. They want to keep building the tag division, and 2 out of 3 falls is just fun. All right, next up is going to be the Cody match. Cody Rhodes going up against Kevin Owens in a ladder match. This is going to be for the Winged Eagle WWE Undisputed Championship. Now here's the thing. So we had on Saturday night's main event, you had the HBK segment. Kevin Owens tried to get a package pile driver on HBK. It didn't work. He ended up eating the super kick. Kevin Owens did. So Kevin Owens is down. So by regular wrestling logic, WWE logic, shouldn't Kevin Owens win? I really doubt it. But there's the thing though, like, is it gonna be pulled down the whole, the hanger with both belts and that's the winner? Do they have to pull both straps down? Because what I thought would be a lot of fun is if like Kevin Owens pulls down the Undisputed Championship and then Cody pulls down the Winged Eagle and it's like, oh no, we don't have a finish. But I think they will honestly give us a clear winner. The other funny thing they could do with this, and I know they don't want to make a mockery of this whole thing, but like you could have, I don't know, Kevin Owens go to grab the belts and then he drops them and Cody catches them. This thing, I expect them to do 30 to 40 minutes because we only have the 4 matches. Cody Rhodes is going to come out as the winner. One way or another, Cody's gonna win this thing. Kevin Owens is not getting the Undisputed Championship. Personally, I would like to see it. I'd like to see if Kevin just had both belts and then he could walk into wrestling. He could drop it at WrestleMania and you could set up a really cool story. Cody could win the titles back at WrestleMania and it could be like Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens and Randy Orton in a 3-way, but I doubt that they're gonna do that. The things that could happen in this match, and I think they need to do something other than Cody just winning clean. If Cody just wins the belts clean, it's like, okay, like we are gonna go on to WrestleMania. This story is over. Kevin Owens needs to do something else. So here's what I think they could do. A little fantasy book for you. I think they could have it where Randy Orton gets involved. Randy has been out since the package pile driver. Cody Rhodes got one too. He came back like 2 weeks later, like it was nothing. So in storyline, the package pile driver has destroyed Randy Orton. So he needs to get his revenge on Kevin Owens. What better way than to get involved in this ladder match? RKO to Kevin Owens, maybe off the ladder, that'd be cool. Then you get some crossroads and then you can end up having Cody retain that way. But by doing that, you're giving Cody Rhodes kind of a cheap victory, right? But at the same time, you end up giving Kevin Owens tons of motivation after the match. He can go on SmackDown the next week and he could just be yelling about how like Randy Orton cost him the titles. He had it won, maybe he had his hands on it. Maybe he was about to pull down like the Undisputed Championship. And then Randy got involved. And then that sets up probably their match for WrestleMania. The other thing I could see them doing, or I would like them to do anyways, is during the men's Royal Rumble match, you have Kevin Owens lose the ladder match. Then the next match is the final match, whatever, is the men's Royal Rumble. and Kevin Owens gets in that match. They used to do this. Just because you had a match during the Rumble didn't mean you didn't qualify for the Rumble itself. I'd love to see Kevin Owens come out and all taped up and everything, and he tries to get in there like number 20. He starts eliminating fools, and then Randy Orton's music hits, boom, comes down, and he screws Kevin Owens out of the Royal Rumble. That's assuming if he didn't do it during the ladder match. That way Randy gets his revenge on Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens has tried twice now to get to WrestleMania. Cody retains. He's gonna main event night 1 or night 2, something. So let's talk about the women's Royal Rumble match. Now all of a sudden, a lot of women have declared out of nowhere that they're going to be in Rumble. Naomi, Nia Jax, you got Bayley, you've got Charlotte Flair has been named, Liv Morgan, basically the whole women's roster. Now I do think this is kind of tricky because there are a lot of names, there's a lot of talents that we could see, and then we have possible winners. Your champions right now are Tiffany Stratton and you got Rhea Ripley. And don't forget, we also have Elimination Chamber right after this, so somebody could end up winning the #1 contendership there. We've also had transfer windows. You got Bayley and Nia Jax are on Raw, and I think it's official, right? Nia Jax is on Raw officially, or is she gonna swing back to SmackDown? I thought she got transferred. Bayley's transferred. So everyone's all over the place. Now in this match, possible returns or surprises on the women's side. We know that Charlotte has officially, through the vignettes, declared she's in the Royal Rumble. Becky Lynch has not officially declared, although all the reports on the internet is that Becky has re-signed and they were gonna bring her back on Raw, but then didn't, so they're finding the right time, which I assume would be the Rumble match itself. Be kind of a cool moment if you had like Bayley and Becky and Charlotte. You got 3 out of the 4 horsewomen showing up in the Rumble. And we also have NXT. Do you do Roxanne Perez showing up in the Rumble to kind of make her main roster debut? Julia as the women's NXT champion, getting her front and center so people could see her and what she's all about. I could see those 2 names popping up for the women's Rumble from NXT. Roxanne Perez, I think because she is having this story with Bayley right now, and Bayley being on Raw, yeah, she's kind of obviously flirting with the world title with Rhea. She's still dealing with Nia Jax. I think they need to pivot Bayley away. And to forward this story with Roxanne Perez and to get Roxanne on main roster, I think one option for them is Bayley's in the Rumble. Roxanne Perez comes in and she enters into the Rumble as well, and she eliminates Bayley. And then that way you can set up, maybe they're gonna have an NXT match at NXT, Stand and Deliver? Then you have Bayley versus Roxanne Perez at NXT. Or it's potentially slotted as a match at WrestleMania. You might want to get Bayley on that card. Julia, I think you just to have the representation of NXT in the Rumble, you put the women's champion out there. I hesitate a little bit because, well, she would get eliminated, and do you want to do that to your champion? Do you want to make Julia look a little weak? I don't know. And then on the TNA side for the women, Jordynne Grace, I think, does appear in the Royal Rumble. She has done it before, but I think this would make her official signing in WWE. I think another Rumble surprise you can have in the women's match, Jade makes her return. I think you could get a moment where you have Naomi and Bianca doing tag team stuff, double teaming other opponents, getting people kicked out. They're baby faces still, but you could have them kind of dominate midway through the Rumble, and then you could have Jade come out and you get that moment, you get kind of the awkward moment between Bianca, Naomi, and Jade. The 2 of them have been tag team champions. They still haven't talked about or teased who took out Jade, and you could have her enter and they come in, the 3 of them are standing there, and then whoop, and then you have Jade take out Naomi, throw her out of the ring, everyone gets shocked by it, and then you can have Bianca maybe get eliminated by Jade. If the 2 of them get tossed out, then you are going to start that storyline of the whodunit, who took out Jade Cargill, and maybe it's going to be Naomi is determined as the person who did it, or it is in fact Bianca who's behind the whole thing. Because then you could have a really cool one-on-one match of Bianca and Jade at Mania. And then at Chamber, you could do Naomi versus Jade and to kind of set things up to get to WrestleMania. But I think you need Jade to come back. If she is healthy, if she is ready to go, that's a story in the Rumble that would be really cool to see. Big pop, big moment. But final participants in the Rumble, I'm gonna say Charlotte, Becky, Nia Jax, Io Sky, and I think Liv Morgan. I don't want to see Liv win the Rumble because they don't need the Rhea Liv story anymore. I think we're done with it. I don't know what Liv will do at WrestleMania, but maybe tag team titles with Raquel or something. This is tricky, but I also want to keep in mind that we have Elimination Chamber to set up one of the other belts. I would love to see Io Sky win it personally. Like, there's who I think will win and then who I would want to see win. Io, I want to see win the Rumble to have that babyface match against Rhea. and they could go for like 15 minutes and just have a straight up banger. Also, Asuka on the list of maybes for return. I don't actually see it. I think she's injured. I don't know, but I thought she was injured for quite some time. She's not ready to come back. But if Asuka's in there, that'd be a great surprise too. So if Io is not going to win though, and I take her off the list, then I've got Becky, Charlotte, Nia Jax is like potential final 3. It'd be a cool moment because we know Charlotte's going to be in the Rumble. For her to have a stare down or a fight back and forth with Nia Jax for their history, Charlotte could eliminate Nia Jax, and you could end up with Charlotte and Becky as the final 2 in the Rumble. You can play off their big history together. But ultimately, I do think Charlotte is going to win the Royal Rumble. I think, one, they've done a ton of vignettes hyping up her return from injury. It is a big deal. Charlotte's a giant name, whether we like it, we're fans or not fans. And you get a little bit of an intrigue coming out of the Royal Rumble of who will she go up against? Who will she declare to fight? She can have the Raw moment where she stares down Rhea Ripley with the world title. And we've had that match at WrestleMania, and that was one of the best matches at Mania 39. But then you can have the stare down and the face-to-face with Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. Rhea and Charlotte as a rematch for the title, and Charlotte getting the win back from Rhea with the world title. I'm not against it. I would like to see what Charlotte's character is when she returns. How will it have changed? Will she have a new approach? She's gonna be a baby. She's gonna get a big pop in the match itself, but after that, is Charlotte going to be regular heel? Is she gonna have a new twist on her character? Like, what's gonna be different? I want her to be straight up nasty heel. And if she is, she can go up against either Rhea or Tiffany because you can babyface Tiffany Stratton. My pick is Charlotte Flair to win the Women's Royal Rumble, and after that, I think she will go after Tiffany Stratton. The Queen versus Tiffy time. Okay, the Men's Royal Rumble. Let's figure this thing out because there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of options, and some people might say, no, there isn't, dummy. There's only CM Punk and Roman Reigns. So let's talk about all these names. Before we do, if you guys can help me out, we're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by WrestleMania. We're in the season right now. So if you can, hit that subscribe button because it would mean a lot as we try to hit that goal. So for the participants of the Royal Rumble, the men's match, the standouts, Punk, Seth, Drew, Roman, John Cena, Sami Zayn's throwing his name in there, Nakamura, LA Knight, yeah. Lots of names, and what I really like about the men's build, not so much the women's, because they haven't really created any stars for the women's Rumble, have they? It's nothing. But the men's side, they have given a lot of focus and attention to building all these stars up for a lot of credible people to win the Royal Rumble and go for the world title or the WWE title. And that's the piece that I really like this year, is there's more intrigue than what we've had in years past. In years past, WWE's made it very obvious with Vince of like, that's the person, we have one story and we're only building that, and they're the only one getting promo time and they're the only one winning matches, so they're clearly winning the Royal Rumble, and then they do. WWE this year has a lot of options for the men, and a lot of them just make sense no matter what their path. So we could have John Cena win. Cena could win the Rumble, go to main event WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes, and get that 17th title win. I would not be upset by it. Part of me feels like you need more odds stacked against Cena to tell that story. He could win the Rumble and then just go to fight Cody and win or lose. He could lose and then pick up the 17th title at SummerSlam. Kind of like Cody lost at 39 when we all thought he would win. And then it kind of builds Cena's never give up story. And you know what? If John Cena wins the Royal Rumble, I think everyone would be like, cool, we're going for the title breaking record. Like, that's what we're going to do. Hey, let's see what the promos are going to be between presumably Cody and Cena going to this thing. And no, I don't see Cena going after Gunther and the world title. I think the WWE Championship is the big title. Seth, I don't see winning. I don't know what Seth's plans would be for WrestleMania, but I don't see him winning the Royal Rumble. Drew McIntyre, I mean, I could see Drew winning. Drew has been Bloodline Hunter, and he's been going after everybody in the Bloodline. That's kind of cooled off a little bit because he's trying to get to the Rumble and he's still dealing with Seth and Punk, but Drew could win. And Drew could then go after Gunther and have rematches, but he could also go after Cody, someone who is aligned with the Bloodline. And Drew winning, getting a Rumble win in front of fans, and maybe beating Cody Rhodes at Mania. It's not a bad match. It sets up a lot of different options and some fresh stuff. Like Cody versus Drew would be a fresh matchup. What about Roman Reigns? Roman is tricky. And I thought about this today because I'm like, Roman hasn't been around on TV at all. Paul Heyman did one promo segment where he told everybody that Roman is entering the Royal Rumble. So we've had no Roman Reigns since he beat Solo and became Tribal Chief once again. It makes me think that I'm like, Roman just doesn't feel hot going into the Rumble. Of course, he would probably end up being the final four, but he's got to have a big story moment in the Royal Rumble. Does he eliminate CM Punk? And then Punk has to get a win back or somehow get to WrestleMania by maybe winning the Chamber, and that being the favor from Paul Heyman. Or is the favor for Punk getting number 30 slot in the Royal Rumble? Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble though, clean and just going out and just tossing everybody out and maybe tossing Punk as the last one. Could he really win the thing? Because then you're just presumably doing Cody Roman 3. And I find that boring, and we have done this match twice. I don't need to see it again. And there's no heat and motivation behind it. The big stories right now are Drew, Seth, and Punk. Those are the ones they focus the most on. Would The Rock show up? This is the big question mark. Could The Rock just show up at the Royal Rumble and either be entering the Rumble or going in there and just messing with it and eliminating Roman Reigns to then give us Rock versus Roman main event night 2? So Roman winning is always a possibility. I just don't see it. Then you have Punk. I have to think Punk wins the Royal Rumble. A lot of people won't like that, and some will, but he's one of the biggest, most popular stars in WWE. It seemed like he was going to win the Rumble last year, but they were going down that path where he was going to have the world title match against Seth at Mania, and then he got injured. I think they probably can go and pull the trigger on CM Punk for WrestleMania. In the Royal Rumble match itself though, this is where I wonder how things will play out, because a final four can be Punk, Roman, Cena, Drew, or Randy Orton, or Jacob Fatu, or Jey Uso. But Punk winning the Royal Rumble, I think, leaves a lot of intrigue, because it would be a question mark of, well, which title is he gonna go after? Gunther versus Punk at WrestleMania? That match doesn't excite me that much. I think it'd be a great match, great wrestling match, but none of Punk's story this past year really feels like he has any interest in Gunther. And unfortunately, WWE's booking of things right now, that world title has moved down a peg in my opinion. So within WWE's storyline, why would you win the Royal Rumble and want to go after the lesser title? Like, why would Punk or anybody just be like, I won the Rumble, I want the world title, it's not going to main event the WrestleMania. Why wouldn't I go after Cody Rhodes and the big undisputed championship? The one with the history, the one that Roman held, like that's the belt you would go after. So if Punk wins, you get Punk versus Cody maybe, excellent match, and they could tell a really cool story. Maybe Gunther drops the world title before WrestleMania. Maybe Punk doesn't, if he wins the Rumble, maybe Punk doesn't decide who he's gonna go after for a little while. They kind of tease it. And then maybe you do have Seth pick up the world title before WrestleMania, maybe at Elimination Chamber. And then you're gonna get Seth and Punk and doing that match. So there's a lot of options in there. I don't know. I'm gonna say my pick to win the Royal Rumble, I'm gonna say CM Punk. If he doesn't win, I think there's still intrigue in there of like, what's the Paul Heyman favor? Will they pull a trigger on something like that where Punk tries to get himself into the Mania main event? Because what if like Roman wins and he goes after Cody and then Punk gets really angry? So then he calls Paul Heyman and he's like, I want to get in that match. Maybe Roman eliminates Punk. Maybe it's not squeaky clean. So then Punk can try to get in there and then it's going to be Punk, Cody, Roman. For other surprises in the men's Royal Rumble, I think it's not like a shocker like the debut thing, but like Jacob Fatu, I think will be the standout in the Rumble. His match at Saturday Night's Main Event, I think that was his breakout moment. Him just demolishing Braun Strowman and the crowd eating it up, chanting for him to do the moonsault one more time. Jacob Fatu got over in that match. I think you have Jacob get in there and he does like the most eliminations and the crowd gets crazy behind him. And then you can have Solo maybe eliminate Jacob Fatu, turn his back on him out of jealousy and that Solo has nothing left. And then that way you get Solo versus Jacob at WrestleMania. Other surprises I could see, Joe Hendry, maybe he shows up. Jeff Hardy could make an appearance from TNA. Logan Paul, he's gonna be on Raw and I think he's gonna be in the Royal Rumble and probably do a big high spot and maybe it sets up a Logan Paul match for WrestleMania with whoever he eliminates. But a lot of intrigue. This is the stuff I like, is that there's a lot of intrigue into who can win the Royal Rumble. So who's on your list? Who do you have pegged as the winner for the men's and the women's Rumble? Let me know your predictions below. Guys, if you want to help support our show, subscribe to the channel and click this video to talk more WWE topics. Have a great day. See ya.